It ain't so. Oh man.
Come on, my social media.
Her name is Rihanna or Rihanna?
I know Rihanna.
Is Rihanna or Rihanna?
Rihanna.
Rihanna.
Rihanna. Her and Cassie, they was licking, they was doing the scissors. Diddy told her Diddy said, I'm the devil. I can have you unalive in Malibu. She was high for cocaine. A couple months later, Diddy hung her off the 17th floor by her ankle. Hung her by her ankle.
Say it ain't so.
Hung her by her ankle. She said, yeah. Why do these people think I'm lying? She said it herself. She said, Diddy said, I'm the devil and I will unalive you. Then hung her by the ankle when her and her girlfriend was over there doing a separate freak off with Cassie. And I said, Diddy is the jealous type. Diddy don't want nobody in the freak out with him, bust a million. That's number one.
Say it ain't so.
And he want to beat her. He hung that girl up by her ankles. By her ankles, y'all. Over the 17th floor. And she's sitting there acting like she a victim. She was represented by Tyrone Blackburn at first. And she had to get rid of him. Because I told you, the only reason Tyrone Blackburn is filing all these lawsuits, because he mad that Diddy ain't invite him to the freak out. Diddy got some fake dreads in his head going down to the crack of his ass. So you know he take bad shots. Don't be feeling me.
It's so funny, so funny.
Oh man.
Got my boy Bondo right here. Bondo, come man. Yes, sir. Bring that update, Bondo. Come on, man. 997 Bondo.
Please hit the like. Come on, we need some more likes. Can I get 1,000 likes? At least can I get 1,000 likes on Mama Combs walk out?
1,000 likes.
Ooh, I can't wait till Mama Combs walk out.
1,000 subscribers. You got 1,000 likes. Give me some of your subscribers. You got that many likes. Sheesh.
Hey, don't just look like Choke No Joke.
Yeah, he said that the other day. So
That's
Monday.
Choke No Joke.
Let me see if someone agrees with you.
This dude looks just like Choke No Joke. Get up out of here. Get up out of here with that remote control car.
No, he
Get
didn't.
up out of here with that remote control car.
Oh my God. Oh man. Are they agreeing with you though? Let me see what they said.
Yes, don't he look like Choke No Joke? And I knew it wasn't Choke No Joke, because Choke No Joke doing all this about Gene Deal, but he's scared to come out of the crowd.
Oh, say it ain't so.
Choke No Joke is scared to come down to the crowd. People said yes.
They said yes. Let me see.
Yes, Choke. Yes, they're saying yes. You look like Choke No Joke. Choke No Joke.
I gotta get back in the
Choke
gym.
No Joke. Look, yes, look.
For real?
Yes, Choke No Joke.
Oh man.
What was it, Miss Cole? I think I still got look good. You smell great. Elizabeth Taylor ain't got nothing.
Put it up like that. Great. Everybody get the lights up. Everybody ready? Hold it down right here. Listen, my camera right here is a person. Nobody touch it.
What up, y'all? Like the video of Melon Monroe. We look good, smell great, everything. Melon Monroe ain't got nothing. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to deliver it. I like that. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Denise. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Subscribe to the net.
Thank you.
All my friends is here.
Yes.
You better go away.
Yes. Thank you. Y'all show us some love. Like this.
Don't be mad, man. Don't be mad, man. Be happy out here if it's knockout. I ain't with it. Be mad, man. Y'all be mad too much, man. I'm happy. I ain't locked up. Hell wrong with y'all. Do it with me. Turn me up. All right, then. So what anybody mad about? Okay, about yesterday. Today's a new day. I don't hear. Great. When I told my shorty yesterday, today's a new day. I ain't never know one.
No, it's not important. Had a sister from New York.
I did that. I tell the woman that's my woman.
Yeah, I swear somebody saw him. I said, oh, shoot. Yeah, I can
Hey, put a caption on TikTok.
Smell great, Pamela Bell. I know you. My cash app is spin above is $.DeNotDOT007. I like to do dark humor. Yeah, you don't want to be the subject of my comment. That's the only way to be honest. It's the person.
Yeah, that's it before 10-11.
I want to take you out unless you might cuss me out for no reason. It's a lovely show. Thank you. Thank you, guys. And you damn sure ain't lying. You ain't lying. No, you're not lying.
I just got those like little
Oh, they bring the truck up. You know, some of these people got personality disorder and social anxiety to where the only way that they feel relevant, they have reasons they come online. My friends in real life don't really clash with my online community. I don't even like my online communities clash with each other.
Yeah.
What Tisa Taylor said when you asked for a picture?
She said,
I'll be here
tomorrow.
But she's been doing
Let me
that
ask you this question. Did you feel like she was discriminating against you in some way?
No, she didn't even look at me.
But when you asked, she didn't even look at you.
No, she looked sideways like, I'll be here tomorrow.
So how do you feel about that?
I felt like, you're not that big. You're not a celebrity.
So you, hold
I mean,
on.
I think it was like, it's like,
Oh my
I was
God.
annoying, being annoyed. I was being annoying,
She acted like you was being annoying.
Yeah, but I just said, can I take a picture? It was like I didn't run up on her. I was sitting down. I'm a senior citizen.
Right. So you felt like she was being disrespectful toward you? Do you feel like she's a people's person?
No, no.
So you say Tisa Taylor's not a piece of person?
No, she kind of
Standoffish? What does that
mean?
mean based on your experience? You're 74 years living.
Yeah, 74 years old, and I'm thinking that she's like, okay, she's a senior, let me go get her.
And then when you seen me, I immediately was like,
You came over and gave me a big hug. And I said, oh, I like him. I always, watch the podcast.
and I appreciate you.
And I watched a piece of podcast when she was the avatar.
When she was an avatar.
Right.
And now she's not an avatar, and she wants your money, but she don't want to respect you in real life, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So again, did I force you to say that?
No, you didn't.
Okay, that's exactly
I'm
what
a
I've been
great
trying to
grandmother.
tell
Why
y'all.
would I lie?
You're a great grandmother, and why would you lie? Okay. Do you feel like she liked black people?
Yeah, I feel like she like that.
Okay.
I got a light skin girl.
Oh, okay, got you. She just stand out. Okay. But I don't understand why she would disrespect you.
She probably didn't know how old I was.
Anyways,
Would you
like I
drink my
told
black
y'all,
water?
Whatever. Miss Combs, Mary J got nothing on you. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Ooh, especially if they say Mary J Blige in her basement.
Oh, I heard she supposed to sell down.
She probably get tricked.
I heard her.
So Miss Combs, you look beautiful, smell good. Mary J Blige, they got nothing on you. Yeah, that's good. That's good, and I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Shout out to C Cola R. Thank you. Yes, indeed. That's me. Mary J. Blige. Mary J. Blige it is. Talking about Brianna? Oh, that's a crack. We can tell Brianna was on there saying high as hell. She high as a kite. She's still just like
Woman just has nothing
I ain't even see what you gonna find here.
When they go to that freak off on that ketamine and open their minds, they try to do things to back to their level high. And they think you're gonna be 4 or 5 days on the body.
I just know something about, I know it. Hanging off
I'm gonna say Donna.
Was she a secretary or something? Or did she was behind the
I'm gonna
scenes?
say Mary J. Blige.
A friend? She's a friend of Cassie or something?
We're gonna figure that out when we get home.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Tune into it.
Yeah, Rihanna was high. And she trying to blame Diddy for why she still need to be high. She trying to get that man money to get more high.
Oh wow.
She was high, that's why she came out here like a celebrity. That's the most attention she ever gonna get in her life.
Oh Jesus. Man, hey bro, what's your
My handle is at DONATPOD. Yeah, DONATPOD.
he's getting
Yeah, that's my handle. Yes, my handle is DONATPOD. On YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok. Oh, thank you. Oh, you asking for my cash app? You just talking about okay, I thought you give me all this money you making up out here. You I appreciate you. What's up, y'all? I wasn't saying that. I was just here. I love it. She just went right along with it.
Shout out, she got a cash app, sir. Thank you.
Girl, don't nobody want to cash app.
Let's stop. You got cash? Somebody want a cash app on the wood. Not you. She's trying to get a cash app. Oh, let's talk about my friends. She's to get my money. I don't want it.
Yeah, she's just
Recognize that. Pull out your money.
She told the marshal to call.
It's called cash.
The head to be the back.
We accept PayPal.
I see that. I'm not lying for Diddy. I just want to have a fair trial. I don't care if he goes to prison or not. You know, you do wrong, you got to do your time. When I do wrong, I do all my time. I don't tell on nobody. You know, I was raised different. And then I don't beat on women, I don't do drugs. I sold drugs 26 years ago, but my life is different. Should move the trial to Alaska where he can get a fair trial. No Diddy was doing the riding. Somebody said no Diddy. Somebody asked me, am I riding for Diddy? And I was just answering them. Like, nah, you do wrong, you get caught. Hey, do your time. I just say have a fair trial, that's it. I don't care if you do time or not. You know, that's his life. And someone said no Diddy was doing the riding. And then they put the smiley faces.
Were they on your thing?
On my chat, yeah.
On your chat?
Oh, thank y'all so much. Please delight.
Diddy in the spot. Laughing my ass off. Yeah, that's the I have over 10 YouTube pages. Yeah, I just can't remember. I can't remember all of the passwords, but this one in my truck, like I said, our truck on this.
Oh, okay.
Those two I'll be on mainly, but and then I just created another one with my real name on it. I don't know why I did that. So I gotta take that up.
Yeah, you do.
So I'm legally changing my name anyway. But I'm gonna still take that off.
Oh, yeah, that's an accident.
Yes. Miss Garagos, are you familiar with me? I interned underneath your father. Why did you take this case and speak to those women like that are potential victims?
That's why she took the case.
She said no comment.
Look brilliant every day. What's the temper? Don't forget to mention that part.
She is not gonna answer no
Miss
question.
Garagos.
She said no comment.
I do a fit check for her every
No comment. She's not saying that. A few people, they come out, they're not saying that. They're not supposed to anyway. So
She know me. I didn't enter.
He said she got legs. I wasn't looking at her legs.
They're too funny.
Oh my God.
She looked scared. No, that was her first face one out there. Telling them pack of lies to me.
Oh shit.
Yeah, come on, can we get some more likes? Follow us on social media platforms. That is the D.O.N.A.T.P.O.D.
Yes, he's paying money in a house pocket. So that means you pocket watching her. And if you're not hot, you don't need to be pocket watching. So don't worry about what she's doing if you ain't putting money in her pockets.
I don't know what the backpack.
Listen, I'm scared, but listen, y'all saying hung jury, the case ain't over. But listen, if Puff get out, Puff gonna unalive all the way.
No, he's still good.
Candle 111.
Rihanna said that
Cash App. CANDOR111. Cash App. Because you got famous off of my voice. Don't get it twisted. You're not representing me if you ain't spitting facts.
Yeah, I'm scared. Diddy get out. All of them gonna be dead. Just like Chris Lightning. You see what happened to Chris Lightning? Capricorn Clark. He beat Capricorn Clark halfway to death.
Somebody said free Diddy.
Capricorn Clark with the Chris
Somebody said what? I don't get into these arguments with folks out here.
And Chris Lightning at the MTV.
I don't argue with nobody, period. I don't do all that back and forth. I always say, what we doing? I don't yell anyway.
Was found unalive in his Bronx apartment, and they said it was a self-inflicted wound. And I said, Diddy. Diddy. So it ain't what he getting accused for. It ain't. They always say, especially wealthy people, wealthy elites, they will always tell you, it's not what you do, it's what you get caught for.
Say it ain't so.
Yeah. Please hit the like. Come on. We only come on, it's too many of y'all here. Please double tap the screen. Double tap the screen up above by the like video, or double tap it anywhere to like this video.
Double tap the screen like he said. I don't be saying none of that. You like it, you go. Not put out.
This is home coming through. It's home.
That's big act right there. Yeah.
He was us. What's the problem? Donate, do not. He said donate, do not.
Yeah.
I promise you. If I see a name come out of your mouth, I'm family. If I see a name come out of your mouth and you recording her and asking her questions, you better be paying her money. Mama Clips.
Not as bad shit, bro. Probably if you go to the Sixth Street and shit by, like where the entrance is. You go with that? 456, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. You go to the I like this shit.
She's out on mine. Who was that? I don't know. I don't care either.
Oh, hell no.
I thought she was talking to me. That's why I turned around. I said, I don't do all that back and forth. I'm more furniture. You start getting my face.
That's right, choke no joke.
Oh, man.
They're all big Armenian. Dude, I get that all the time. It's funny. I think that's a compliment, bro.
I didn't do my usual setup the way that I usually do it. Well, I did it 2 days ago. Damn. Hold on, damn. You don't block nobody. Because the same people that you blocking and timing out that's attacking me, you ain't got no feelings over here. Let them have to pay and send me a super chat in the super sticker. You're going to lose your moderation. That's the way we're running the platform right now. I'm not taking nothing personal at all. At all. If they want to attack me, let them light up my chat. Say Chris Jenner ain't got shit on you. Period. That's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah, we ain't got no feelings over here.
You sure don't.
We ain't got no feelings over here. Okay? Treat me how y'all do Miss Ned and Charles. Come on up here and have a field.
Back in the day, I'm the first thing on
Moderators, I require nothing of y'all but just to be cool. That's it. That's all I've ever required. I've been going my back.
You said is Snoop out there? Nah, Snoop was out here, what, last week? A week before? 2 weeks ago, right? He's at the Breakfast Club interview. I didn't watch it. You know, but Snoop was out here in New York about 2-3 weeks ago. Having a split. You know, when I get back uptown, I'm going to have me a nice one. Everyone nuts, be safe. You know, I keep my head on the swivel. You see the camera going around. Someone said, everyone,
Choke, no joke.
it's everyone nuts, be safe.
Chicken, choke, no joke.
Now I keep my head on the swivel. I'm not licensed to carry, right? So it's a federal building, so I keep my head on the swivel. My mittens still work though. I ain't letting nobody run up on me and try to hurt me. You know. Is this out? Is this our live now? Yeah, this is live right now. And then I'm a set a timer for the so I could, for people that missed the beginning part or whatever, they can see it later. I'll probably set it for 7. I'm not sure. Anything after you know, when people usually settling down and eating or whatever. Trying to empty a black man's pockets. Yeah, I've been seeing a few people saying that. People saying that he's going to get a mistrial and then he's about to pay all these expensive lawyers all over again. Actually, somebody reads out. He's over here. He was saying he's probably going to have 3 mistrials. And then maybe the third one he'll get off. But by then, he's going to drain his pockets. Because these lawyers, you know, they taxing. They ain't just, like if I got in trouble and hired them, they'll charge me a little $50,000. They charging him out there. You know what? So, you know. Trump's going to pardon him. Yeah, I heard people say that. It's a possibility, you know. They want to return. So they wait.
I know stuff about him. You gotta understand, he followed me too. Up out of here, so I know a great deal of information about him. So I'm not even trying to go there. Y'all always talking about him.
And they are leave. And she was happy about it.
So if I go around and tell everybody stuff,
Hands up for the Diddy. Let him walk. Trump isn't going to pardon him. Going to cross the border to Jersey. Let's go eat. Get out that. I got you. You want me to come to Jersey for what? Is somebody hitting on me in here? That's Trump and the organization. I don't know. We gotta wait till the evidence. You know, he still got more evidence. We have no clue. Trump isn't going to pardon him. We got to woke up. I don't know what that means. Trump's going to pardon him. It's the lamest statement over. Got too much. Beyonce, Jay-Z. What about them? This has nothing to do with them. Diddy in there right now? I don't know. Well, he should be, yeah. Because if court is over, they probably putting the cuffs on him and getting ready to shackle him up and put him on the bus and get him out of here. But it's been 2 buses left already, so he probably was on one of them. And of course, we couldn't see if it was him. That's where I'm at for work. Okay. So why you not outside then? Are you looking at me and just not telling me? Fly feathers to the bank. The what? like Johnny Depp pull up like Aaron the plumber for the fade. Like Aaron the plumber for the fade. I don't get what that is. What Aaron the plumber got to do with this? Him pulling up for a fade. I don't fight no more. So you run up on me, it's going to end differently. If that's what you're saying. Trump is ready to fire him. We all human. Yeah, that's true. We all human. We make mistakes. I know I made a bunch of mistakes. Russia is watching the broadcast. Okay. Shout out to Russia. They were going to be on trial. Who's they? Okay. Okay. Say Jaga? Why destroy Bad Boy Entertainment? I don't know. Y'all asking those $1 million questions. I don't know. You know, I don't know why people do the things that they do. Why destroy Bad Boy? Okay, no, I read that. Nah. I don't do people. I have house in New Jersey, VA, in Florida, engineer, baby. Yeah, oh, well, congrats to you. My youngest son's an engineer. He finished college early. He's an engineer now. Yeah. I don't care. Hit the likes for goodness sake. Appreciate you. Why you even there? Because I have nothing else to do. Once I discharge my trucks and they on the road, what else I'm gonna do? Half of the time I got a gym membership and don't even like going to the gym anymore. Hey, I'm single now, so I can look. Who would say I was enjoying the freak offs if they were forced? Yeah, that's the question to ask, right? Bad Boy Entertainment is a bunch of zesty dudes, never just a record label. I don't know what that is. Lots of people were involved. Yeah. A lot of people coming to testify. They taking them plea deals because they would have damn sure had a federal charge also. So a lot of people took plea deals and they didn't understand. Tell it.
He did like this. But someone said that he did like this. But I didn't see that part because I was like this.
I saw that part. Yeah.
With 3 people.
I was watching.
Yes, my handle is not.
They didn't put handcuffs on him.
Okay.
He had my right arm and he was like, leave this coming? Oh, he's telling me, leave this the right arm.
No, well, his mom was in this video. I mean, truck, and then the son was in that the Sprinter. So they're getting ready to come out now. This guy always looks so serious. You need a vacation, buddy. That must be his personal vehicle because I got the Florida plates on it.
Okay, they go to bed.
Yeah.
They go to bed. Walk through. Come on, man. Can we get 400 more lights? Come on.
I drag it.
Double tap.
He's found guilty on all charges. Bonnet Bridget. Who got a bonnet on? Oh, okay. Oh, there goes Christian right there.
Here we go.
He ain't gonna talk, but
Hi, Miss Cone.
everyone's look at Miss Gunn.
You look great.
You're
You smell great. Mary J. Blige ain't got none on you, Miss Cole. Absolutely. Come on, Miss Cole. Yes, indeed. Let's pour into Miss Cole.
If you say that name, give her cash out. Pay her.
Yes, indeed.
I got an idea for Pop Julio.
Lord, no.
If you made $4, give her cash.
She said she got an idea. We pointed to Mama Cole.
She's worth more than what you saying.
Mama Cole. Girl, I'll drink your bath water. Miss Cole, Miss Cole.
People say anything, boy. I'm not drinking nobody bath water. I don't even drink my own bath water. She said she was running for president on Monday. I had it on footage, but it didn't go through. I said, damn.
Hands off. 111. That's the concept. Not $2 what you gave me yesterday. That's all I'm worth tonight.
Oh.
$2 out your pocket. How many views you got? Oh! Don't try to play me out. Don't try to play me out. I must be yo-yo.
Oh, okay.
Oh, they done that was it?
Yo-yo.
You support you shout out somebody.
All right.
Yo-yo. She's like a yo-yo.
You don't even work for $2 that
I know that's right. Let him deal. So I'll let you tell it.
Well,
I'll let you tell it.
yesterday.
I'm the only one that I like.
That was Monday.
That was
Monday because I was out
I'll let you
here.
follow
You
me.
posted on your Instagram that your old man put your eye out.
No, I didn't.
You did. You said the
lying.
man that you with. It's on your Instagram.
Are you out your fucking mind? You better read it over. You might be illiterate, son.
Okay, I'm sorry. But whoever did that to you,
You know what illiterate means?
Like a fish.
Did you read it? Did
gotta
you read
fix
it? I wish it not happened to you.
Okay, I don't.
Candor 111. Cash App. CANDOR 111. CAN. No, you don't get it.
No, he didn't. He said he wanted $2 back.
Didn't give up.
Oh, man.
Didn't give up.
I'm thinking Bank of America, Chase, and Wells Fargo. If you want to donate some money, sure. He said he wanted $2 back. You was upstairs, right? All right. You don't mind if I just get...
All right. No, Ray J didn't testify, but he did enter the chat.
Oh, okay.
Allegedly. Now, they didn't say exactly that it was Ray J or not, but how many Ray J's do we know? Ray J. All right, y'all. Come on in. Come on in. All right, I'm trying to connect my Wi-Fi, y'all. Hold on.
We're going to get some exclusives. She was upstairs in the courthouse, and she got notes, too. Set of people outside just yelling about nothing. We're going to get some real information.
A lot is going on.
Not people's personal opinions, people that's bipolar just yelling anything. Talking about sending money. You get a job, man. Grab a phone and record, get monetized, right? So,
All right, everybody, come on in, come on in, come on in. Let's get it. All right, hold on. I got to check the Wi-Fi one more time if they get disconnected.
you don't know what you're going to see. I'm telling you, every time I come out here, somebody that's bipolar out here just acting up. Every time.
His mother and his son, they already came out.
There was one dude, he got arrested 2 times I came out here.
Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to hook up the
God,
Wi-Fi, y'all, okay? Yeah.
All right.
It hurts my ears. It's gonna hurt yours even worse. Everybody always asking for that it's not good.
Yeah, I'm trying to start. Okay, I'm trying to start, y'all. There's a lot going on. I'm trying to hook up my mobile spot.
Oh, you haven't.
Everybody
Okay.
come on in.
She's trying to get. She has a mobile hotspot. She's trying to get going, guys.
Yeah.
All right, so we trying
Just
to
give her a minute. We're going to get all the info as soon as she gets set up, all right?
Just got it, so I don't know how to turn it on.
Thank you a lot of
Okay, I
for
think
the
there it
follow.
goes. Hold on, y'all. Okay.
It's good, guys. She's coming out.
Okay, so it's connected now.
All
All right,
right.
everybody come on in. We're going to get started.
Uh-oh.
All right, hold
Just gonna
on.
go over the notes today.
Brother.
Prosecution.
8647.
You guys know
Oh,
where
8647. I don't know what that's
We're
about.
getting ready to get started. We got a lot to go over.
Free
Let me
brother.
plug the hotspot up so we can go.
Not for now.
Okay, it seems
Malcolm
like
for
it's
real.
simmering down.
Every day we pray for Diddy.
It says they love you in my chat.
Another
Said they love you.
African.
Thank you.
There's that little cones, Negro.
I
Okay.
appreciate you.
That's wild, but okay.
Yes. Okay, we got the hotspot going.
Love the jeans. She says she loves, Emma says she loves the jeans.
Oh, thank you, y'all. Okay, everybody blessified.
You want?
Everybody likefied.
Yes,
Yes, I am.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You're on. Okay, she's on. Guys.
Likefied. Everybody blessified. We are getting ready to get started. Okay, welcome to the Knockout Report. I got some tea, so everybody ratify it up, blessify it, get your team heart, get your subscriptions. Now, we're gonna start out. Now, we might go for the guy with that took the 100,000. We're gonna go over him later because he's like Tubi movie, but we getting ready to go to Netflix right now. We're gonna skip the Tubi movie and we're gonna go right to Netflix. All right. So let's start. So the next witness on the stand, right? I'm freezing. Am I freezing? I'm buffering. I'm buffering. Am I buffering? Am I good? Am I lagging? I'm in and out. Okay, let's disconnect. Let's disconnect. Hold on, y'all. Is it good now? Is it good? Okay. All right, y'all. So we're going to leave the hotspot. Okay, so on the stand was Miss Rihanna. Rihanna, Bongotan. And she was Cassie's friend, right? Now it's going to all of a sudden get loud.
Tom Cruise in which one?
As soon as I start, it's mysteriously getting.
You want to go over there?
So no, they like to see the building.
Oh, the building behind you? All right.
They like to be out in front. The aesthetic of it, they like to see.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
When I go live, when I'm not live, it's the inside.
Yeah, right.
Mysterious. So anyway, so she is 33 years old, and she says she's the creative director of her own art agency at the present, right? So they show Diddy on the screen, they show the picture of Diddy, and then she says, oh yeah, that's Diddy, she verifies it, right? And she claims, allegedly, everything's all alleged in this Netflix live.
And shout out to Tisha Taylor for being on the news.
Entertainment
Tisha
purposes
Taylor
only.
is running a pack and spinning a fake narrative against me. She's a big.
So she said that she was held over the balcony, allegedly, all right, on the 17th floor balcony. And then she was thrown into the balcony furniture, right? And then they said, how did you feel after that? She was paranoid. She was screaming, you know what I'm saying, when they threw her in the furniture, right? So then they bring up Cassie's picture, right? And then they say, who is that? And she said, oh, that's Cassie. That's one of my close friends, right? So she says that she's friends with Cassie to this day, all right? So she met Cassie from about 2013 or around 2014. She wasn't sure. She met Cassie because she was working with a streetwear clothes company called Young and the Reckless, right? So she was working there as a graphics designer, all right? Yeah, I know. You know what it is. That's why my voice is harsh, because I have to keep yelling over the elements. But as long as y'all can hear me, we good, right? So she says that Cassie is one of her closest friends.
And nobody can hold him down.
Met up between 2013 and 2014. She worked in the graphics department, right? And she said her first interaction with Cassie is because they put her to work with Cassie on a collabo, right? Hey y'all, I'm not ignoring y'all. I see everybody coming in, all right? I'm just getting to the tea. So they put her to work with a collabo with Cassie for them to design clothes and come up together with designs in their head, right? So she was working also with another company, which we'll get into a few minutes. So the first interaction with her and Cassie was in 2005. And she was the head designer at that company, all right? And then she said she was in a relationship with Diddy at that time when she met her. Thank y'all for blessifying y'all. And then she said the relationship allegedly was very volatile, all right? So she said the relationship was volatile. You know what I mean, volatilization, you know what I mean. And then she said that she only had a professional relationship with Cassie at first, but then as time went on, they, grew fond and they trusted each other. Then it developed into a friendship, all right? So, let's see. So she said that she wasn't fond of meeting Diddy at first, and they asked her why, and then she said she didn't like the treatment how she was treating Cassie. He was treating Cassie allegedly, right? And because she was, she's seen him, Cassie have a black to the Irish at one point, right? And so she said that Cassie begged her to meet Diddy. She said, please, come on, meet Diddy. That's my boyfriend, right? So then she also did a little design work with Diddy, okay? So her and Cassie hung out a lot at her apartment, and they became closer, right? So she wasn't aware of Diddy's house right away, but then she got invited to Diddy's house, and that's when she met Diddy, all right? So, she would work on designs with Cassie and talk about what they're doing, and then here it comes. They was getting up to the sky. Where we going? Hi. We got to change the words around for quality insurance, right? So they was doing pharmaceuticals, baby, right? So they asked, what was you doing? Now we got to switch it around. She was hanging out with Snoop, all right? She was doing the me, right? Then she was doing the M to the D to the M to the A, right? And then she also hung out with somebody named Perry. And then she also hung out with Rob Holiday. Who is Rob Holiday? Don't y'all remember Deontay called him the low-budget producer? Do you remember Rob Holiday? The low-budget producer. She hung out with the low-budget producer, allegedly. I don't know if he's low-budget. That's what Deontay said, not me. All right? So then they pull up pictures of her and Cassie shopping together. So they got, little shopping bags, and then thank you. And they pull up pictures of that. And she said that they shopped and they got the nails done, all right? And then, let's see. So they got their nails done, they went shopping, and so communication with Diddy, she says, allegedly, was mostly about, where's Cassie? Where's Cassie? Where's Cassie? I want to be like, where's Cassie? What she's doing? So most of the communication, she said, at first with Diddy, was about where is Cassie at, right? So then she said she don't know how, right? She don't know how, but she said Diddy would allegedly have a list of every place that they went to, right? So what you think that he had? The trackification on him? Maybe so. But they don't know how she did it, but he would have a list. If they went to the mall, he had it. The mall, the nails, everything, right? She don't know how that happened, right? So then she felt like, wow, he really wants to know where she's at. Like, so it's like, wow, So she felt like, like kind of paranoid that he knew where they were at, you know what I'm saying? Kind of paranoid. So she would stay at Cassie's house pretty often, and then they asked, where would you stay? She said on the couch, on the balcony, on the bed, she sleep wherever. And then she said, one time, okay, we're getting ready to get to it, y'all. Tapify, share a shot, blessify, so I'm not brokified, okay? So, Diddy came, where was that at? Wait a minute. So she would stay at Cassie's apartment, sleep on a balcony, couch, and chair. So she said, One time Diddy came, and now this is the prosecutor. That prosecutor is working with the government. Okay, remember that, because this is going to be a major plot twist. I'm telling y'all ahead of time, there is going to be a major plot twist when it gets to the cross-examination. So buckle up, baby. Ray J. So anyway, allegedly, Ray J come out to play. So anyway, so Diddy came in the middle of the night one time, right? And then Cassie was sometimes surprised, sometimes she was normal. But they asked her, well, how did you, feel when he came? She said she was surprised, sometimes she was normal. And then she witnessed violations with Cassie and Diddy, allegedly, right? So she said she would be awakening, but knocking at the door, boom, 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 at the middle of the night. And he would get in, and they said, well, how would he get in? Did he have a key? Was he a magician? Did he levitate? And she said, I don't know how he got in. He just got in, right? So he would come in the middle of the night, and Cassie was in the hallway, right? And then all of a sudden, Diddy allegedly threw some, now read between the lines now, figure out the words, because we got to get around the AI to this eye. He threw some knififications, those sharp things that you have in the kitchen that you cut like some steak with. So he came in the hallway, and he immediately, they start having knifification fights, right? In the middle of the night, right? So Cassie was in the hallway, and then they said he came in the door, he threw the knififications at him, right? And then they said, well, what was Cassie doing? And she said she threw the knife back at him. It's a lot of knives. It's like Game of the Thrones, right? You watch Game of the Thrones, right? So she threw the knife back, allegedly, right? And then she said, she doesn't remember all the details, and she didn't call the cops because she was scared. Okay, she was shaking under the bed. She was like, "Oh, I'm scared. They're having a knifification fight." Right? So this is it's a plot twist. It's the reason why I'm reading it like this, right? So he comes in, they have the knifification fight. She doesn't remember the details. They asked her, well, weren't you scared? Did you call the cops? And she said, no, I didn't call the cops because I was scared, right? So then she said, she didn't see any injuries at that time because the knififications really didn't land, right? So the first time she was FaceTiming, Cassie, right? She said Cassie had a blackification in her eye, right? And she alleged it was from Diddy, right? F1, okay, do the F1, right? And then she had so then they said, well, how did y'all feel how did you feel when she was showing her blackification eye? And she said, I was a little quiet, but I said, I'm sorry. She said she was sorry to her. She said Cassie was really, really quiet, right? And then she also seen some bruisifications, all right? So let's go to Cassie's 29th birthday at the Blind Dragon. It was a karaoke bar in North California, all right? And so she said she begged her to go, come on to the party, right? So then she said she would see them getting along at first, right? Because they asked, well, how was the interaction with Diddy and Cassie? Thank you all for the classification. And she said, well, they were happy at first, and they were getting along, and then all of a sudden, they started arguing, right? Allegedly.
She loved me.
Right?
She loved me just as much as everybody else I love.
So they was getting ready to leave, but Deontay had came, right? So now the prosecutor mentions to her, she said, you received a subpoena and got immunity. Okay, pay attention. Let's put a pin in that, because this is going to be very important later. The prosecutor said, so you got subpoenaed today, right? Yeah. And you got immunity, right? Yeah. As long as you do what? As long as I tell the truth. Do y'all think she tell the truth? Well, we about to see later. This is gonna go cuckoo for Cocoa Pop scraper, right? So then, she said, yeah, she got immunity. Immunity means she won't incriminate herself. She tell the truth. Anything she says or what she did, she won't get thrown in the slammer with him. All right, as long as she's telling the truth, right? Keywords on telling the truth, because we're gonna see how that pans out later while walking. Right? So she said, She said that Diddy allegedly, right here, everybody, provided the pharmaceuticals. What pharmaceuticals? The usual. All right, we got to switch the words around. They had the E to the E. All right, the E. Ooh, the C. Right. Then he had the Coke that you drink, the Coca-Cola. You know the Coca-Cola that you don't drink. They have a little Coca-Cola that you don't drink, baby. Right? And then she said they had something called G. I never heard of the G. Anybody heard of the G? It's only one G, but I'm saying 3 G's, the scrambled TikTok brain. Everybody heard of the G? The G? No? I never heard of the G, right? So she said she claims she only tried the G one time. Well, that's all going to change later with the cross-examinations. Wait for it. Right? So then she says she's hanging out with Snoop. What does Snoop do? Woo, he does that stuff that looks like broccoli, baby. Right? She's hanging out with Snoop. She had a little edible to the bowls, right? Because they was asking her what kind of pharmaceuticals was she doing, right? And they had a long laundry list, baby. I don't know. How did they do all of that? And function and still look good, y'all? How did they do all of that? Right? We're going to get to a longer list of what they did later, right? So they asked, they said, so they remind her, you got to be truthful, right? And if you can get charged with perjury if you lie, right? She said, yes, I know, right? And so they asked who provided this pharmaceutical, right? And then she said, allegedly, Diddy would supply it, same lines that we won't mention it again, right? And then she said, weekly, Cassie would allegedly do pharmaceuticals more and more. So as time went on, Cassie went and did pharmaceuticals more and more and more, right? And then over time, she went to go get the pharmaceuticals for Cassie. She would go and get them, right? What is, if you go get pharmaceuticals, right? And then you sellify them to Cassie, then what does that make you? That makes you a pharmaceutical dealer. Hey, pharmaceutical dealer. Right? So anyway, so then they mentioned, and they asked her, were you selling drugs, aka pharmaceuticals? And she goes, remember, you better. Oh, yeah, I was doing the drugs, right? So she said, at some point, she said her and Cassie would want to stop doing the drugs because they wanted to do better, right? So they pull up, hey man, they pull up a picture, right? And then she said she was with her friends. They were in Malibu in 2016, and they took a photo, right? With a guy named Bad Boy, but he was spelled Bad B-O-I. That was their friend. So they said, was it any connection with Bad Boy? And then she said, no, that was just his name, right? And then she said, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Diddy came up and allegedly said, I'm the devil, and I can unalive you. Just ran up to him, said that as random. I'm the devil, and I can unalive you. Allegedly. That's what she said, y'all, not me. Right? I'm reading what they said, understand, y'all, okay? Oh, okay? So, right? And so, they said, well, were y'all doing pharmaceuticals that day? She said, yeah, we was, having some of the coke that you don't drink, right? And then they said, how did that make you feel when you did that? And she said, I was terrified, right? But she said, the Coca-Cola that you don't drink made her real confident. So she was terrified and she was confident at the same time. She was like this, I'm terrified. And then she was like, but I'm confident. Right? So then she said, the prosecutor asked her, did you meet with the gov, right? And then she said, yeah, but she said, do you remember what you told the GOP? And then she said, yeah, but she said, I didn't tell it at first when she met with the gov. She said,
that was a
okay,
Trump
let's stop for a minute. They said, did you meet with the gov? And then she said, yeah. She said, but I thought it was a meet and greet. Those are her exact words. She said she met with the gov, yeah, but I thought it was a meet and greet. What, she thought she was going to the club for a meet and greet? What she thought, y'all? I didn't know what that meant. She thought the gov meeting was a meet and greet, baby. Wow. So she thought the GOV meeting was a meet and greet, right? So then we went on break, and then we came on back, right? So she said, Diddy banged on the door, allegedly, right? And she went and hid Cassie in the bathroom. Now here's when it gets like a Netflix, but this is the Tubi movie. The cross-examination is a Netflix movie, right? Nicole cross-examined. So she said, Diddy came banging on the door. Boom, 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 boom. Open up. It's Diddy. I don't have the knives this time. Right? So he was banging on the door, and she ran, and she took Cassie, and she hit her in the back. Right? And so then she went to the balcony, and then she was chilling there, just casual. And they said, why did you go to the balcony? She said, I wanted to be casual, like, just chilling, right? So then she said, they asked, how tall is she? She said, she's 5'1". And then she said, how big is Diddy? She said, he's bigger than me, right? So she said, Diddy got in once again. They don't know how he got in the place. Was it a key? Did he levitate? Did he come in and say like sinners, let me in? And then they let him in? She doesn't know, right? So she was at the balcony. She was holding and chilling, chilling casually by the rail. And then she said, allegedly, y'all, and this is entertainment purposes only, but they said this on the stand, all right? She said that Diddy came and he lifted her up and helped her over the rail. I thought Suge Knight was doing stuff like that, allegedly, right? The plot's gonna twist later, y'all. Listen to what I'm saying, right? So she said Diddy came in, right? And he came and took her and lifted her over the rail, right? And then he lifted her up, and she said that she weighed about 100 to 115 pounds at the time. And then she said her feet were dangling, right? And she was slipping, and she was trying not to slip, so she was pushing Diddy back, allegedly, right? And then they said, how long did it last? She said, about 20 seconds, it was real quick, right? And then she said, I thought it was gonna fall, right? And then she said, Diddy was saying to her, to Rihanna, you know what you did, right? And she said, I don't know what I did. What did I do? And he said, you know what you did. They never said what she did, but we're going to figure that out later, right? Put a pin in that, right? You know what you did. Remember that. We're going to come back to that later, right? So Diddy said, you know what the F you did, right? And she said, I don't know what the F I did, right? So he was yelling loud, and she said it lasted about 20 seconds. And after that, he took her and he threw her into the balcony furniture. It turned into WWF, baby, right? So after he threw in the balcony furniture, she said that she was stunned, you know what I'm saying? And she said that they asked her, wait a minute, where was I? Split second, 20-second furniture. And then they said she didn't see her injuries right away, right? She didn't see her injury right away. And then she said Cassie came by the door, and her voice was in disbelief. Now put a pin in that, y'all. You got something? Write that down. She said Cassie was by the door and watching in disbelief, because that's going to all change later, baby. All right? So she said Cassie, and her voice was in disbelief. And Cassie said, did you just hang her over the balcony to Diddy, right? And she said they were talking a little bit, and then he left. And then they said, how did you feel? And then she said, I felt awkward. I didn't know exactly what I did after that, but eventually I went back to my apartment. And then she said she was shaking a lot. She wanted to take a shower. And then she looked and seen a big crucifixion on the back of her, I think it was on her leg, right? a big bruise on her back, and then she had neck pain, right? It was her neck and her back and her neck. Remember Fridays? She said, my back and my back and my neck was hurting, right? So they pull up pictures of her leg. It was on her leg, y'all, right? The bruise was on her leg. They put up pictures, and then she said she took the pictures the same day, and then the pictures did look disgusting. I don't know how she got the bruises. She had pictures of bruises, right? And then they asked, did you go to the doctor? And then she said, well, I went to the chiropractor. You know the chiropractor that you usually go to when you're getting ready to go to a lawsuit? That's what the chiropractor for, ain't it? Let me take off my jacket because it's getting hot in here, baby. It's getting hot, baby. It's a Diddy trial. How y'all doing? Where y'all from?
St. Louis area.
St. Louis in the building. I'm going to turn the camera around, right? Wait. I want y'all to give Miss Knockout a shout out. Stop requesting me. Okay, I want y'all to give Miss Knockout a shout out. Say, you listening to the Miss Knockout report. All ready? 1, 2, 3, go.
Listening to the Miss Knockout report.
Thank you. All right, so let's get to it. I'm getting hot, baby. I'm sweating over here because we get to the good part. We get ready to go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Okay. Wait a minute, let me take my jacket off, baby. Because I'm sweating. Everybody run it. Everybody shareify, everybody likeify, everybody get your orange little heartify. All right? Tapify, and make sure you subify. We out here still. All right, let's continue. Right?
No, you can't peek in her fanny
So
pack.
then
It's
they
a
say,
federal building. You try to go to jail?
Let's see where we're at. So she had a big bruise,
Like her shirt.
right? And then they said,
Yeah,
what
I
else
like
is
it too.
hurting? And she said it was her neck and her back and her neck, right? And then they pull up pictures of the bruise. The bruise looked disgusting, okay? And she said, they said, did you go to the doctor? So she said she took the picture in the bathroom. They asked her, did she go to the doctor? She said, no. Where'd you go? I went to the chiropractor, all right? And then she said her friends were telling her to go to the chiropractor, right? If you got hurt like that, would your friends tell you to go to the chiropractor, or would they tell you to go to the emergency room? Right? But she went to see about her neck and her back and her neck first. Like Fridays when he fell on the cashier, they said, my back, my neck, right? So she took the picture in the bathroom, she went to the chiropractor, right? And then they said, did you tell anybody? She said, no, I was scared, right? So she didn't tell anybody. So the chiropractor asked her, who did this? And she said, I was scared to tell him. I didn't want to say anything, I'm scared, right? And so she didn't tell him because she was scared. They showed more pictures of her back, the bruises on her back, all right? And then she got bandages, they put bandages on it. Her girlfriend, I don't know if it was girlfriend. They didn't elaborate. So I'm gonna say, I don't know if it was a homie girlfriend or the girlfriend, right? I see everybody. Welcome to the Miss Knockout Report. I'm so hyped. And I'm hyped. I gotta I gotta give y'all a story. And a little bit of entertainment, right? You know my personality by now, y'all. Everybody run the fit up and blessify Miss Knockout because girl, when I tell you, woo! Okay, let's continue, y'all. Hold up. Got the boxing gloves on deck. All right. So then, she said she got those injuries from when he threw her into the furniture, the balcony furniture, right? So let's go to September 30th, 2016, right? So she said she didn't receive more medical care. She didn't go back to any doctor or nothing, right? Because she was scared. She felt pain later. And then she wanted to get soberfied. So she did say she talked to Diddy. He FaceTimed her. And then he said, well, what did he say? And then she said, Diddy just looked at the camera, put his hands on his head like this. Then he looked again. He didn't say much. He was just doing these gestures like this, right? He just threw his hands up, right? So she talked to Diddy on the team called her. She talked to Diddy on FaceTime. He didn't want, she told him, they said, what did you say to Diddy? She said she told him, I don't want no problem with you, right? And he kept on throwing his hands over his head. right? And then they asked her again, well, why didn't you go to the police? And then she said, because I was scared, right? And then she said, they said, how was your relationship before all this? And she said, well, we was pretty cool. She is Rihanna. That is Cassie's friend. All right, that's Cassie's friend Rihanna. Right? She met her when they were working for a clothes company. She was working with Cassie to work on designs together. So she was head of a design department, and she was assigned to work on designs together. And then her and Cassie got close. That's who I'm talking about. Those who understand today. Her name is Rihanna, right? So then she said she hung out with Diddy afterwards, right? And then she said they hung out January 19th, 2018, and she got that date tattooed on her neck, right? And then the prosecutor said, why did you,
Say it ain't so.
what? Oh, yeah, no, I don't have no qualification, y'all. I don't have no qualification. No, I don't. And if I do get one, my manager works for TikTok. Not only will it go away, but we're going to find you, and you're going to have a qualification, a permanent one, for playing, okay? So let's get back to this, right? So then she said that she hung out with Diddy, allegedly, one more time, right, on January 19th, 2018. And then she said she was fighting with herself. She wanted to get soberfied. Right? What does that mean? No more pharmaceuticals. I want to get soberfied. Right? So she tattooed that date on her neck. Right? And so let's go. Let's see. So then she said they met at a hotel. Thank you for the blessed vacation. Thank you, y'all. Thank you, Debbie. Right? Let's keep this going because we're bringing you the tea, y'all. Right? So then she said she met with Diddy allegedly at the hotel on January 18th, and they did 8 hours of keta to the mean, y'all. 8 hours. They did 8 hours of keta to the mean.
Say it ain't so.
Shit, right? So then she wanted to get sober right away, right? And then she said eventually she did get sober-fied, right? And then let's go to November 23. What is November 23? That's when Cassie filed her lawsuit or started her lawsuit, right? So she said she talked to Cassie right after the lawsuit, right? And then she said, girl, you got some information, right? So she said she was heavy on the pharmaceuticals when the balcony thing happened, right? And then she said she had a convo with Cassie. She did mention it. Hey, what's the purple house? Purple Rain? Yeah, Prince.
Yeah, someone
y'all like
was
my
saying
shirt?
that. Yeah, on my
I got
tattoo.
the jacket. I got this from Prince's house, y'all. We'll talk about that later. So she did, remember they did the 8 hours of ketamine, right? And then she said she had a convo with Cassie during the lawsuit time, right? And then she said, Cassie, they did mention the incident, right? And then they said, what kind of effects did this have of him lifting you up, allegedly over the balcony and then throwing you into the balcony further? What kind of effects did that have on you? And then she said, oh, it had lasting effects. I had nightmares. I was paranoid. Who that? Is that Diddy levitating in the room with a knifeification? Oh, they're going to have a knife fight. Like she was having night screams. She was screaming in her sleep, right? And then she said she didn't have them before that incident, right? Why do you think she's saying all that? I feel a lawsuit. Okay. Hey, okay. So then she said she had nightmares. She was screaming in her sleep, right? And then they said in January 2024, you hired a lawyer pertaining to the balcony incident. Here it comes. Wait for it. You hired a lawyer in 2024 pertaining to the balcony incident, right? And then they said, when you talked to the GOV, you didn't talk about the incident, right? And then she said, I didn't talk about the incident. I was kind of scared, right? Then they said, you sent a letter of demand to Diddy, didn't you? You know what I'm saying? And then she said, I didn't approve any letter. you know, they sent the letter. I didn't approve it. And then she said the letter was incorrect. All right? The letter was incorrect. Let's put a pin in that because we're going to come back to that, Barbara. Get the Cocoa Puffs. Right? So she said that her lawyer did send a demand letter. Right? She said the letter was incorrect. When your lawyer sends a demand letter, don't you get a copy of it, y'all? If you have a lawsuitification and your lawyer sends a demand letter, I'm almost sure you get a copy of it, right? Right? So, disclaimer, Ms. Knockout is not on any time. I'm just telling what happened on the stand and bringing the facts to you. All right? So, she sent the lawyer sent the letter. The letter was incorrect. She didn't approve the letter, right? So the lawyer was Tyrone Blackburn. What's his name? The lawyer that they always call an ambulance chaser. What's his name? Tyrone Blackburn. That's his name. Yeah. Tyrone Blackburn. You know he always comes when there's some money involved. Allegedly, right? Don't get me Tyrone. Allegedly. Right?
No, just you.
So then she got rid of Tyrone at some point because I guess she didn't like the way she was going. Right? Somebody said, call Tyrone. Right? So she got rid of Tyrone at some point. Right? So then she heard from a girl named Tiffany, Cassie, right? And then Rob Holiday. Who is Rob Holiday? The low-budget producer, according to Deontay, he's a low-budget producer, right? Thank you so much, y'all. Everybody classified, everybody tapified, everybody, thank you so much. Everybody summified, everybody shareified, right? So she heard from Tiffany, Cassie, and Rob Holloway. She said Rob reached out and told her that, you know, and reached out and had her hang with him. And then they said, well, what were y'all doing? Oh, we were making music. She was hanging out with him, right? And then she said, all of a sudden, a little later, right? Now remember, y'all, she had the lawsuit going. Allegedly, she sent the demand letter to Diddy. And now Diddy knows that she's trying to do something. Right? If you receive a demand letter, you know that he's trying to do something, right? So then all of a sudden she gets a FaceTime from who? Rob Holiday. And they said, well, where was he at when he FaceTimed you? And then she said he looked like he was in the back of Diddy's yard, allegedly, right? He was calling for Puff and he wanted to settle the incident, allegedly, right? So now Rob Holiday, the low-budget producer, is at Puff's house, and he wanted to settle the lawsuit. Who you think that she's saying that, you know, like, you know, at Puffy's house? Who do you think they got him to do that? Okay? So she said she declined the offer, right? But then she said she never talked to Rob again. She never talked to Rob again. She cut him off, right? So they said, did you file another lawsuit? She said, yes, about a month or two after that, right? And then they said, why did you file another lawsuit? She said, because I wanted justice for hanging over that mountain and throwing me into the furniture like the WWF. I wanted justice for that, right? So then she said she filed the lawsuit. She wanted to seek justice, right? And then they said, do you know what the lawyer wrote? She said, once again, she didn't look at what the lawyer wrote, right? And then she said, they asked her, are you telling the truth? She said, yes, my testimony is truthful. Yes, it is. Well, we're about to see about that because we getting ready to go into what? A cross-examination. Here comes Nicole. Wait a minute, Nicole came in like this. I'm Nicole. And thus starts the cross-examination, baby.
Oh, man.
Right? So Nicole, what is Nicole's name? Well, y'all look it up. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Nicole works for Diddy, right? She works for Diddy, all right? Now, disclaimer, Miss Knockout is repeating the words off of the stand. She is not on anybody's side, all right? Because y'all ain't going to like this.
Uh-oh.
We getting ready to go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, baby. Okay, I had to do a verification, right? So Nicole said, you know, you got immunity, right? If you testify, you have immunity, and that means that you can't be prosecuted for any crime, right? But you lose the immunity if you do what? If you tell a liarification. Now take a pen and put that in the wall, y'all. All right? Put that pen in the wall, baby. If you tell a lie, out the window goes the immunity, right? So she says, yes, I know. Okay. So the prosecutor said, she said, who decides that if you lie? The prosecutor decides if you lie. That's the government. All right? So then Nicole says, go back to when you met Cassie at your young and reckless clothesline, in which thank you for the blessing again. Come on, y'all, blessed Father is not gonna run it up. Because it's about to get good, baby. It's about to get good. Y'all gonna see why I said Cocoa Puffs all the time, right? So, go back. Nicole says, go back to when you met Cassie. You was working at the design company. You was doing graphics, right? And about 2015, right? You met Cassie and y'all were collaborating on designs, right? She says, yeah. And how much were you paid? She says she got about $75,000. That's a good little amount of money, right? And then she said Cassie was paid a little more, right? She said, yep. And then she said, was Cassie signed to Bad Boy then? Yeah, she was signed to Bad Boy. So she was doing music and she was collaborating with the clothes company, right? So that was her second venture. So she said that she was made to be in charge. Thank you. Thank you so much. Wow, that was beautiful. Thank you so much, y'all. The purple looks good. Yeah. So she said she was put in charge of Cassie, right? To get the designs out of her brain, from out her head into the real world, and put the designs out. That was her job, to work with Cassie, right? And so she had to get the ideas out. And then they said, well, where did y'all go to do this? She went to her house, right? So that the first time she met at Cassie's house, they focused on T-shirts, right? And then she said, one T-shirt? No, she said, a lot of different things, not just T-shirts. They focus on other stuff, but mainly T-shirts, right? So Nicole said, she called you and told you to come over, right? She says yes, to do a photo shoot, right? And then she said yes, and she suggested that Cassie do a shoot in the swimming pool, right? So she did the shoot in the swimming pool, and then she said at that moment, she felt comfortable with Cassie, right? And then she spent the night at Cassie's house, and then she often went back, right? Thank you so much, y'all. She often went back and spent the night at Cassie's house. It became a regular, right? So then it said, pull the doctor. So then Nicole says, and did y'all go partying? And then she said, no, we didn't really go to parties. And then what did Nicole say? Pull the documents up, because you told the GOP that y'all went to parties, right?
And then she goes, I'm doing too much behind the scenes.
Remember, right? So then they take the photo shoot at the pool, right? And so then they asked, so then she said, Cassie asked her, do you do pharmaceuticals? Up to the sky. We're going high up like a plane and flying through the sky.
Say it ain't so.
Right? And she said, yes, I do that. Right? So then she said, her and Cassie started doing a lot of pharmaceutical vacations. So they was flying higher than a 747, baby. Right? So they started doing a lot of it. And they said, what did she do? What kind of pharmaceuticals did you do? So she said, right, that she did. Now it's a long list.
Oh, wow.
We're going to turn the words around to protect the quality insurance. Everybody F1. I ain't going to say nothing wrong, but just F1 just in case. This is what you do, right? So she said well, what kind of pharmaceuticals did you do? And she said, I did Mary Jane. Hey, right? That's one of them. Then she said she did, you know, the stuff that you eat that's like Mary Jane. That's the second one, right? Then she said they did, you know, the Coca-Cola that you don't drink. You know the Coca-Cola, not the Pepsi that you don't drink, right? That's the third one she did.
She's
And then
saying
what
sugar
else she
booger.
did? The ketamine, right? That's another one. Then she said she did, and my ex is here to see. My ex is here to see. My ex is here to see me. She did that, right?
Ecstasy, y'all.
Then she did Molly Ringwald. Where are you, Molly Ringwald? Molly, where are you, Molly Ringwald? Then she did that, right? Then she did for G, the big G, not the little one, right? Then she did that. Then they did, oh my gosh, my foot is burning me. I think somebody poured some acid on it. They poured some acid. They did that.
Man,
Then
they did acid too.
Perker. Set. And she did that, right? She be changing the words around for quality service. We're still going. Then she did, oh look, in the sea. What is it? It's a Viking. And then he's dead. It's a Viking that's dead. Then she did that. Then she did, here we go, y'all. Y'all ready for this? This is the moment I've been waiting for to tell you all day. You guess what other thing that she did? She did something like, you remember the cereal? Do you remember the cereal called Cocoa Puffs? Do y'all remember a cereal called Cocoa Puffs? Remember that cereal called Cocoa Puffs? Who remembers the cereal called Cocoa Puffs? There's a name of a pharmaceutical called Cocoa Puffs, right? So then Nicole says, and this is the cross-examination, what is Cocoa Puffs? She said, you know, you get some Mary Jane, right? And then you put it in the bluntification, and then you sprinkle it with the sugar booger.
She's talking about a
and
woolly,
then you
y'all.
roll it on up. So I said, Maya,
When you mix the
I know
weed and the
that.
coke together, it's called a
that's
woolly
in the
here in
hood,
New
they
York.
call that a woola. Woola, where are you, woola? Woola, right? I didn't know they got these new names, y'all. That shit was going Cocoa Puffs, baby. Thank you. They was, and now you see what I was saying, Cocoa Puffs? Cocoa for Cocoa Puffs. Cocoa. They was going Cocoa for Cocoa Puffs, baby. Cocoa for Cocoa Puffs, baby. I never heard that word. Who heard about Cocoa Puffs again? If you know about Cocoa Puffs, not the cereal, put a yes in the comments. If you know about Cocoa Puffs, put a yes in the comments. Somebody said, I'm confused. I'm changing the words around for quality assurance. Stay with me, y'all. Y'all figure it out. I never heard of Cocoa Puffs, but I heard of Woola.
All this perspective, I just read your comment. I see it.
Right? So, then, let's see. So Cassie, you know, did mostly the pillifications, right? She said she didn't really do the pillifications. Wow, it's something that she didn't do. Oh my, right? And then she said, you know, one time she went and got Cassie 100 pillifications for Cassie. 100 pillifications, Bergen. Who got 100 pillifications at one time? I didn't know they could even subscribify 100 pillifications. Right? Everybody sharify. Everybody put tags in the comments. Everybody put tags in the comments. I want you to put
for the month.
Diddy trial. I want you to put FYP page. I want you to put everything pertaining to the crowd, but don't put nothing bad, y'all. All right? Everybody tag. And tag Ray J, because he's coming up right now. Ray J's gonna enter the track, baby. right? So here we go. Y'all ready? Everybody put Ray J in the comments. Everybody put Ray J in the comments. Ray J, come out to play, Ray. Now, so they said, did you do pharmaceuticals for free? Right? And she says yes. But then, did you have pharmaceuticals that you sellified to her? And then she goes, let me think. Oh, I got immunity. Okay. Yes.
Wow, she
Right?
told.
Yes. So
She
sometimes
told.
she did them for free, and then sometimes she did it that she sellified, right? And then she said, but then we also, everybody, y'all ready for this? Are you ready for this? She said, and we also had pharmaceutical dealers, right? And then she said, because I thought they was going to say the one-stop guy again. So she said pharmaceutical dealers. And who are these pharmaceutical dealers? Then she said, allegedly, Ray J. Now,
Said it ain't so.
they said Ray J was the dealerification of the pharmaceuticals. Now, I don't know if it is the Ray J. They never said. So this is all allegedly. This is all allegedly. They never clarified whether it was D Ray to the J or it's another guy named Ray to the J in 5F. I don't know. They never clarified, but they did say Ray J, Ray J, Ray J. You know Ray J is going to get online, Birdie. Ray J is going to get on. He's going to be on Twitch. He's going to be on Instagram, right? So she said her and Cassie was putting out a clothing line, right? And she did get a few collections out. And then she said, well, how did these collections do? It didn't do so well, right? You put the collection out and it floppified. So her and the collection that they were working on so hard and so long, it floppified. And why did it flopify? Because they were busy doing a lot of prescriptifications, right? You doing all those prescriptifications, how could you work it? You know, your work ethic. I don't know how somebody could do it. Because that was a lot. It wasn't like they was just hanging out with Snoop. They was hanging out with Snoop, Pepsi, Coca-Cola, everybody. Cocoa Puffs, right? So the clothing line flopped, right? So then, you know, she said, okay, so, you know, your clothing line was competing at the time with Rihanna, Beyonce, and then you had difficulties with Nicki, who was like probably one of the owners there, right? And then the Diamond Supply is another clothing company that she was working for, right? And then she said they weren't seeing your vision, right? And then she said, oh, I wouldn't say they wasn't seeing my vision. I would just say, you know, it just didn't work out, right? So she did meet Diddy for a year after hanging with Cassie. When she started hanging with Cassie and they got close, she said she didn't meet Diddy for a whole year until she begged her to come meet, right? So then she was hanging with meeting Diddy. Let's go to meeting Diddy. In 2016, she met Diddy at a dinner, and Diddy allegedly was very standoffish from her, right? And then she said she was there as Cassie's guest, right? And then her friend Deontay Nash was there, right? And then they said, do you still speak to Deontay Nash? And then she said, yeah, he texted me today, but I didn't answer. And then they said, well, why didn't you answer? She didn't make that clear, right? So then she said, he did text her before today. And then Nicole said, did you speak about the testimony? And then she said, no, we did not speak about the trial. No, we didn't. I called them and there's a big trial going on, but we didn't talk about the trial, right? And so then she said she had been talking to Cassie in a couple of weeks, and then she said Cassie texted today, but she didn't answer for some reason, right? And then they asked her, did you ever speak to Cassie about the testimony? She said, no, I never spoke to Cassie about the testimony, right? Then they said, did you speak to Cassie after her lawsuit? And then after her lawsuit, you then hired a lawyer, Lawrence Blackburn, to allegedly sue Diddy, right? And then she said, yes, you know, I hired a lawyer, right? Oh, that's nice, right? Ain't that nice?
I didn't have paper.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
So
Cool.
she said,
Appreciate
I hired
you.
a lawyer,
Yeah.
right? And then she said,
Appreciate you.
let's see. So you were working with, well, hold on. So you hired a lawyer, right? And you're aware that this lawyer is acting on your behalf, right? She said, yes, right? But she said, and then you was asked about the meeting with the GOV that you thought was a meet and greet. She thought the GOV meeting that for the trial was a meet and greet, y'all, right? And then you did a full interview with the GOV that you thought was a meet and greet turned into a full meeting, right? On November 2023, Cassie filed her lawsuit, right? And you went back and worked with Cassie briefly, right? From November to December 2023. Okay, so let's look at the timeline, y'all. So November 2023, allegedly Cassie filed a lawsuit, and then Miss Rihanna went back and worked with Cassie November through December 2023, right? And then she said, yeah, we hooked up to do music. Everybody thank you for blessing fire knock up. Come on, y'all, we getting a lot of tea in here. We can make it so good. You think it's good now? Baby, it's got to get now. Right? So she said, oh yeah, we got to do music, right? And then she said, not to discuss the lawsuits, right? And then she said, no, we just working. And then she said, you know, well, did you call Cassie during the lawsuit? And then she said, yeah, I did call Cassie. And then you called her after, right? And she said, yeah. And then she said, you were speaking to her about the lawsuit, weren't you? And then she said, I didn't tell anybody about filing the lawsuit filing. And then she said, but didn't Cassie ask for permission for you to put your incident with the balcony in the lawsuit? Thank you, y'all. Thank you. Hey, Q-Mar. And then she said, no, no, I didn't talk to her about that. No, that didn't happen. And she said, so now listen, it's getting ready to get tricky, y'all. It's getting ready to get tricky. So Nicole said, didn't you have conversations with Cassie trying to collaborate your story about the balcony, about who was there, what y'all was going to say, where are you at, whether Cassie seen it or not? But Cassie said she didn't see anything, right? And she's like, I don't recall. Now she getting ready to go into I don't recall mode, right? Mm-hmm. So you and Cassie discussed who you would say was there, and she suggested Tiffany Red, and you said no. And then you said, she said maybe she was there. Then Cassie told you that she didn't see anything, but you told the GOV that you had to tell Cassie that she seen you get held over the balcony because she didn't remember. Too much Cocoa Puffs. She had too much Cocoa Puffs, baby. The Cocoa Puffs was racing with her brain, right? You told Cassie that she was there, Nicole said, right? You told her, and then she said that she wasn't there. She doesn't remember, right? And you were discussing who was going to be there, right? And then she says, oh, I don't know. Oh, you don't know, huh? Well, let's pull up the GOV notes then, shall we? Woo! Right? So, pulls up the GOV notes, right? And then Nicole says, you agreed with Cassie to discuss dates and location and who was there. You said you FaceTime Cassie, and then she said, you said she had a black to the eye, right? She says yes. And then Nicole says, but you weren't there when she got the black to the eye, right? She said no. And then she says, you were with Cassie for over a year, right? Yes. But you don't, but she says yes. And then she says, did you see any violations going on? Any boop, bap, boop, bap, boop? And then she says, I don't remember. Then Nicole says, okay, so now let's talk about the 29th birthday you had at the karaoke, right? Do you remember the 29th birthday? Yeah, sort of. Okay, what kind of pharmaceuticals were you doing that night? Then she said, I don't remember. I don't remember. So you remembered everything with the prosecution. When the prosecution was examining you, right? You knew everything, but now you don't remember, right? So, she said she doesn't remember. Were you doing pharmaceuticals tonight? She said, I don't remember. So then Nicole says, you testified about this knife, the knifeification that Diddy came through the door with, right? And then she goes, oh yeah. And then she says, so you said Cassie was in the hallway, Nicole says, right? She says, yes. Then she said, you said Diddy came in while you were sleeping. She says, yes. And then she says, Diddy was in the hallway, you said, right? And then she said, yes. And then Diddy just came through the door and automatically had a knife coming through the door, right? And then she goes, Diddy came through the door and he automatically had a knife. And she goes, yeah, I seen a knife, right? And then he just started throwing knifeifications back and forth, right? F1. Started throwing knifeifications back and forth, right? And she said, I don't know how it happened, but I saw a knifeification, right? Then she said, you spoke to the GOV about a knifeification, right? She said, true. You told the GOV that Diddy and Cassie got into knifeification fights often, right? And then she said, I don't know. Then Nicole said, you said that they got into knifeification fights more than once, right? She said, I don't remember. Then she said, do you recall the GOV taking notes at the meeting? Do you recall that the GOV, whenever you meet with them, they take notes at the meeting? She said, yes. When you met with the GOV, you said that this happened in the kitchen, right? And then she said, it wouldn't make sense, allegedly, for Diddy to just be coming through the door with a knifeification, right? She said, right. But I just saw the knifeifications getting thrown. And then Nicole said, wow, you didn't call the police? You didn't call the police? And then she said, no. And then she said, weren't you worried that he would come back with the knifeifications? And then she said, I don't know. Then he said, do you remember that you said the photo shoot, do you remember that you said that at the photo shoot, Diddy just came through and all of a sudden said, I will unalive you. Do you remember that? And she said, yes. And then she said, do you realize that you told the GOV that it happened at a party? I'm going to say it once again. That's that. Y'all are saying, oh, she was nervous on the stand. Okay. Does it sound like she was nervous on the stand?
Sound like she was lying.
I didn't say it, y'all.
Allegedly.
They're saying that they sounded like she was nervous. You know, you can't say that she had Stockholm because she wasn't in a relationship with Diddy. Okay, so y'all can't say that. And Miss Knockouts are saying the words that are coming off the stand. These are not the words of Miss Knockout. She is not on any side. I'm just reading the cross-examination.
Me either.
All right? Can't say Stockholm this time, though, y'all. But she wasn't in a relationship, right? So she said, do you remember that you told the GOV that this happened in the kitchen? She said, I don't know. Would it make sense for Diddy to just come in, right, and just stop throwing knifeifications? Would it make sense for Diddy to just bust through the door and start throwing knifeifications like Game of Thrones? No. Were you worried that he would come back? I don't know. You remember you said that you did the photo shoot and Diddy said, I will unalive you, right? And she said, yes. Do you realize that you told the government that it happened at a party? Do you remember that you told the government that it happened? No, we're going, you said, somebody threatened, no, we're going back and forth with the notes and the stuff that came out of her mouth at the GOV meeting. When you meet with the governments and the prosecutors, they take notes and they keep it on file and they record you and they take notes. This is not about nobody threatening nobody. She spoke with her own mouth and told different stories. Okay? Now I'm not on those sides, sir. I'm not even going to entertain y'all. Be quiet. I'm talking about what they said in there. How am I on the side when I'm talking about their words? All right? So, she said, do you realize that you told the government that this happened in the kitchen? Would it make sense for him to just be coming in the house and throwing knififications? But you said in the government meeting that he was in the kitchen, right? And then she said, oh, I don't know. I'm confused. You know, I just seen knives flying, right? And then she said, well, why didn't you call the police? She said, oh, I was scared. I was worried. Oh, so wasn't you worried that he would come back? She's like, I don't know, right? So she says, remember at the photo shoot, you said Diddy came up and said, I will unalive you. It was out of the blue. He just walk up to you and say, I'm going to unalive you, right? She said, did you realize that you told the government that it happened at a party, right? And then she said, I don't know. I don't remember, right? Nicole says, you spoke to the government January 2022, right? True. And you didn't tell the government anything about that then. So you mentioned nothing about Diddy came up to you and said, I'm going to unalive you at the photo shoot, right? You didn't mention that at all. She said, I don't remember. And then she says, but that would be a really important thing to mention to the GOP, right? And then she said, I don't know. Then she said, did you tell the government that he said, Diddy, allegedly, that he will unalive you while you were hanging over the balcony? So your story changed once again. She said, I don't know. I don't remember. Oh, well, we have papers saying your lawyer had that in his paperwork, in his demand letters, that he hung you over the balconification and told you that he would unalive you. And you never mentioned that before, right? Oh, I don't know. My lawyer must have lied. She said, my lawyer must have lied. And then she said, Nicole, all of a sudden, she said, you lied about Diddy saying that he would unalive you. Right? And she was like, my lawyer lied, right? So then Nicole says, on January 2024, you made allegations that he said that he will unalive you in the demand letter. Do you read these demand letters? Do you read them? No, I don't read them. You know, my lawyer, but the lawyer just, who has a lawyer, right? And they don't read the demand letters. Don't you read the demand letters before they go? I mean, I would verify that, right? Yeah? So, she took a long time to answer that. She just really didn't know what to say. So then what do? They pull up the GOV. They pull up the GOV notes right to refresh her memory out the words that she's saying out her own mouth. Right? Through the demand letter of the lawyer. Right? She pulls the documents up. The demand letter, is it true that you said that he would unalive you over the balcony, but you're not mentioning that now? You didn't mention this in that story. But back in the demand letter, you said that he said that you would unalive you at the balcony incident, not at the pool shootout. The pool, you know, the photo shoot. Right? And then she said, I don't know, I don't remember, right? And then she said, well, that's not true. Like my lawyer, like he put that in there, but that's not true. So after the untruth went out, Nicole says, in the demand letter, what happened after that? She said, I let him go, I fired him. And after the demand letter, you told the government that he said that he would unalive you. And she says again, I don't know. I don't remember. My lawyer lied. He just lied, right? So Nicole said, do you recall that Diddy said, do you recall Diddy telling you that you are giving Cassie too many pharmaceuticals? Let me repeat that because we're going to go back to something. This is connected. Dude, Nicole said, do you remember that Diddy told you that you are giving Cassie too many pharmaceuticals? Right? And then she says, I don't know. I don't remember. She said, Nicole says, do you remember telling the GOV that you did the pharmaceuticals, but the pharmaceuticals were very expensive and you couldn't afford it, right? She said, I don't know. There's a lot of other I don't knows in here, right? Why is it I don't know, right? She has to say I don't know because if she says the wrong answer, then the immunity goes out the window, baby. Let me take my hand. Hold on, let me get a sip of water, y'all. Because we got a little ways to go. Okay? Remember that. She has to say, I don't know. Because if she says the wrong answer that's not matching the GOV papers, then
Wait a minute.
okay, let's
That ambulance went that way. They probably went to go get Harvey Weinstein because he's in court over there on his appeal. So the verdict probably came out, you know, and he's probably fainted again. All right, we back.
Oh, good. So then, do you remember that you told the GOV that the pharmaceuticals got expensive, right? She said, I don't know. And often, Nicole said, that you would run out of money to get the pharmaceuticals. She said, I don't remember, right? And then Nicole says, let's pull up the document, y'all. Right? She pulled up the document. She says, read that to yourself. Then she reads it. Does that refresh your memory? That thank you for the dinosaur, baby. Wow. Thank you, Duran. Thank you so much. Hey, I followed you back. Thank you, everybody, for the classification. Thank you. Right? So she pulls up the document. She's refreshing her memory. Right? Is it true, Nicole says, that you told the government that you can't afford your pharmaceutical habit? And then she says, right. Because now she read the documents. Now memory's coming back. Thank you, everybody, for the blessifications. I appreciate you. Right? So she says, you told the government you couldn't afford the pharmaceutical. She says, okay, right. And you said you and Cassie had a partnership, meaning that. Then she said, meaning that sometimes you would sellify Cassie the pharmaceuticals, and sometimes you would do the pharmaceuticals with her for free. And sometimes you would sellify the pharmaceuticals. So what does that make her, everybody? If she's sellifying pharmaceuticals, remember, she got immunity. Thank you, y'all. Thank you. What does that make her? That makes her allegedly a pharmaceutical dealer. Allegedly. Right? So, she said, so you and Cassie had a partnership with the pharmaceuticals, yes. And Nicole says, part of your income was from Cassie buying pharmaceuticals. So Cassie would buy the phone. You know, Cassie had a record deal. She probably had a little bit of money at the time. So she was helping, you know, she would buy the pharmaceuticals. Then sometimes she would do the pharmaceuticals with her, allegedly. Right? So Nicole said, is it true that part of your income came from Cassie buying the pharmaceuticals? And she says, yes. And then she says, weren't you dependent on the income that you got from Cassie for the pharmaceuticals? Remember, they got the GOV notes up. They got the GOV notes. When they pull out GOV notes of the words that you said that coming out your mouth, you cannot tell a lie then, right? And she said, yes, I was dependent on the income that she was buying the pharmaceuticals. So then she says, let's talk about the balcony. Before we talk about the balcony, though, you met with the GOV on January 18, 2024, March 2025, 4/19, 2025, 5/25, 2025, June 2nd, 2025, June 3rd, 2025, and June 4th, 2025 is when she met with the GOV. So remember that when you hear a lot of, I don't know, I don't remember. You don't remember from 3 days ago, girl? You having too much Cocoa Puffs. She having too much Cocoa Puffs. All right? So let's move on, y'all, brother. Because it gets good. All right? So she said, do you remember telling the GOV that you were having a smokification when the balcony incident went on? And then she said, I don't remember, right? So you sent a demand letter, January 2022, February 2024, 2022, February 24th, 2022, right? And then you filed the lawsuit in 2024. True. Rihanna says true. Nicole says the balcony was in a civil document, right? She said, right. And then you said, told the GOV, she said, told the GOV that Cassie was at the door, right? She said, yes. And then she says, Nicole says, do you recall? Hold on to your seats, baby. Hold on to your, everybody bless and find this knockout, share a fire. I want y'all to hold on to the rail, hold on to the seat, baby. Wait till she says, let's wait till you see what she says next. Nicole says, do you recall telling the GOV that this incident happened at a party? She told the GOV that it happened at a party, not at the balcony. Oh my gosh. You know what she says? I don't recall. I don't recall. Right? Do you recall that you told the GOV that this happened at a party? She said, I don't recall that. I don't know. I don't recall. So she said, you don't recall telling the GOV that you was at a party hanging, and that's when he came up to you and
Said little Woody.
I don't recall that.
I don't recall.
And then she said, you don't recall you was at a party hanging out? She said, the government takes notes, right? You do know the government takes notes, right? And she said, yes. And then you do agree that a party and you sleeping are two different things, right? You sleeping in an apartment and you at a party is two different things. Are you aware of that? Oh, she was nervous, right? Somebody said she was nervous. Well, these are her own words in the GOV. I'm not on anybody's side. I'm repeating what was said in the courtroom on the stand. Okay? So you do agree that a party and sleeping, right, is two different things, right? She's like, I guess so. And you don't recall saying that, you was hanging at a party, it always happened, right? So you said that your girlfriend was in the bathroom. I don't remember.
Free Diddy, this case is BS.
So Nicole says in that interview, you never said that Diddy was banging on the door, right? With the knifeification incident. You never said Diddy was banging on the door, right? And the balcony, well, I'm confused. I don't know if she was on the balcony at a party, at the grocery store. I don't know at this point, right?
That's a lot of people telling.
So then she said, I don't remember. She said, Nicole says, the first time you made the allegations were in your civil complaint, right? She said, yeah, it was in my complaint. Then Nicole said, isn't it true that in the interview, you said that you were on the balcony and you was hanging with Snoop, smokifying some weedification, right? And then you said you were smokerifying a cigarette vacation. Isn't hanging with Snoop and smoking a cigarette vacation two different things? Thank you for the Millie. Third day in a row. We hit a Millie. Thank you, y'all. And then she goes, yes, I guess. Right? She said, now, the balcony incident, right? Let's go back to the balcony. Do you remember that you told the GOV that he charged you across the room? But then you said that he came up to you on the balcony and lifted you up and held you over the balcony, right? I don't remember. But you said that he picked you up and he held you over the balcony. But then you said that he charged you from across the room. I don't remember. All right. Now I want y'all to take the chair that you are in, because that chair is going to start shaking, baby. That chair is going to, I want you to hold on to your seats. Hold on to your seats, right? Do you remember telling the GOV that Diddy allegedly essayed you? Now that's never came up. That has never came up. That's just coming up. Oh my God, where did that come from? Where did it come from? The sky? Look, it's a plane. No, it's an essay out of nowhere.
You got an attorney for some of it.
I don't remember that. I don't remember. I had too much Cocoa Puffs. I don't remember. Hey, Nicole. Hey, can you say hi to about your awesome job? There you go. Brian Steele is in the building. There goes Nicole, man. Nicole was cooking, baby. Yes. Sure. There go. Hey, Brian.
How are you?
Say hi to my chat again. Hey, good night. Okay. So there you go. There goes Nicole. Nicole was cooking.
That's Nicole, y'all.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, speak
See, they can't speak on the case, and that's why they come out later, because they figure everybody will leave, and the media will run it down on them or
we're gonna be out here
YouTubers.
for a while, baby. So I want y'all to hold on to your seats, baby. All right? No, I'm not. I'm reading. Why you? I'm gonna just ignore y'all. I'm reading the words that's coming off the stand. Did I make up these words out of my head? No. I'm reading the words that's coming off the stand and throwing in some entertainment so y'all could be entertained, okay? So don't do me. Like they say, don't play me, play Lotto, baby. Okay? All right, y'all, hold on. Hold on, baby, because we just getting started, baby. Hold on. Oh, my battery's going dead. Okay, we got 46 minutes left, but baby, I'm gonna continue this when we get, if my battery dies, y'all, we are going to continue this when I get home, okay? They just be saying that I'm on Diddy's side, not because they believe that I'm on his side, but because they're mad because I'm getting motion and all this attention. So they just want to try to, we just ignore that.
Yeah.
Right? How do you get that from me reading the words off the stand? Right? So Nicole said, do you remember that you said that you was smokerifying some weedification? Then it switched in another report and you said that you was smokerifying a cigarette. You do know that those are two different things, right? Then you said that he charged against across the room, right? Let's pull up the documents. Okay, read the lines and look up when you're done. She says, okay. She's reading. Then she said, okay. Then she said, do you remember that you told the GOV that you charged across the room? She still says, as she's looking at her own words on the document, I don't remember. It's all alleged, right? And then she says, you said that he picked you up, remember? And then she said, but you said in one report, when he picked you up, that he essayed you, that he grabbed on your breastification. Do you remember that? Wow, that's never came up before. It's the first time we're hearing that. The first time, right? And then she says, I don't remember that. Oh, must be the Cocoa Puffs, right? So she
Must be the
said,
Cocoa Puffs.
Nicole said, did you tell, thank you, Tori, everybody bless up on this knockout. If my battery goes dead, we're going to continue this, right? Yeah, I'm just reporting what's on. They don't believe that I'm on Diddy's side. They just saying that trying, you can't get under my skin. I don't care what you say. It's not got just reported in the news, and everybody knows that. So go along, go read a book or something, all right? So then she says, I don't remember. Then she says, your lawyer in your behalf said that you accused Diddy of squeezing your breastification so hard that they got bruises on it, remember? She said, well, let me refresh your memory. She said, let me show you something. Remember the fire chief? Let me show you something. Right? So she said, repeat the question. And then she says, you don't remember that the lawyer had in the demand letter that that Diddy allegedly squeezed your breastification so hard that you got bruises on it? I don't remember, right? So then Nicole says, let's go to you being hung over the balcony, right? Sometimes you were hung over the balcony, then in other stories, you would not say that. Let's go to November 22nd, 2025. Your lawyer said Cassie witnessed you over the balcony, right? Yes. And then you said in another meeting, right, that you were
Marshall Bell.
thrown into the balcony furniture, and then you landed, then Cassie came in, right? And you agreed it's a difference between Cassie seeing you over the balcony, and it's a difference when Cassie came in the part that you were thrown into the balcony furniture, right? Because you being thrown into the balcony furniture is after you being hangnified over the balcony, right? And then she goes, I guess it's different. And she said, then you said that you were lifted up, then you went down, then you went back up again twice. He did it twice, right? But in other stories, you said he just lifted you up and halfway held you up. And then in other stories, he lifted you up and put you over, right? And then she goes, I don't remember, And then she said, but I was struggling with my feet, right? Then Nicole says, 15 months after the first interview, Nicole said you spoke to Cassie, and it isn't true that your foot were hanging off the rail, right? So you said in another story that your feet was hanging over the rail instead of you hanging. Is that correct? I don't remember. Did you tell the GOV instead of you hanging over the balcony that your feet was on the balcony? I don't remember you. I don't remember. Then Nicole said, wasn't that 2 days ago when you had the meeting and you said that? Yeah, I had a meeting 2 days ago, and you don't remember this. I don't know. Then she says, you didn't tell the government 2 days ago that you don't recall the balcony meeting. So then she told the government 2 days ago that she don't even recall the balcony incident. And then she said, but I don't remember. Then she says, what pharmaceutications were you on that night? Was it Cocoa Puffs? Was it this? Was it that? There's so many I can't remember, right? And she says, no, I don't remember. Then Nicole says, did you say that you were on Molly Ringo? Molly Ringwald. Why are you Molly Ringwald? And then you said that you was having some Coca-Cola that you don't drink, right? And then she says, I don't remember that night. I didn't have it that night. Maybe I had it another night, but I don't remember that night, right? Oh, we're coming to the end. We made it, y'all. Okay. We made it to the end, right? Just before my battery deification. Did you tell the GOV that you did? Now listen to this, y'all. Did you tell the GOV that you dislocated your jaw and you bruised your ribs in another report. She said, oh, I don't remember. Listen, y'all, I'm repeating the words that they said on the stand. It's not Miss Knockout's fault that they're saying these words on the stand. So don't blame it on me. I'm just repeating and taking notes on what I'm saying. Don't get mad because it's not going your way because y'all are siding on sides. Once again, Miss Knockout ain't on no side. She's on the side of the truth and I'm bringing y'all the facts. So now you're mad because things ain't going your way. And I'm sorry about that. Let's have a moment of solidification. Let's have a moment of solidification. All right? Don't blame Miss Knockout on it.
It was like very sketchy.
Blame it on Cocoa Puffs. Okay.
All right.
So, did you remember telling the GOP in one report that you had a dislocated jaw? Take that. Okay. Pause.
All right, I gotta go. I got 5 minutes battery juice, so we're gonna end it here. Support Knockout 360. I met her the first week I was out here, so she's always show love. All right,
thank you for
peace,
that.
y'all.
That was a good one. All right. So Nicole says, do you remember telling in one report that you had a dislocated jaw?